All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and 154-pound division is absolutely popping as Vergil Ortiz gets a secondary championship by beating Boyachuk, Sergey Boyachuk, in what many people are calling fight of the year and robbery of the year at the same time. But this does set up potentially an Errol Spence fight, a Fundora fight, a Crawford fight for Vergil Ortiz, who I have to say is one of my favorite fighters. But let's talk about the fight and what the fight means for one of the hottest divisions in boxing right now. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, man, we had a humdinger tonight with Vergil Ortiz beating Sergey Boyachuk in a 12-round majority decision, in which we saw not one, but two knockdowns. I thought they were flash knockdowns, but a flash knockdown is a knockdown. One in the first round, one in the 8th round, where Vergil Ortiz got dropped both times, but yet wins the fight. Also, another terrific fight that I'll talk about at the end of the video, so make sure you follow all the way through, is a really good 126 fight, 6-pound fight with Angelo Leo beating Lopez. And I thought that was the big upset that I called. Now, before I get into it, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And if you're a longtime subscriber and supporter of the channel, thank you guys so much. Truly appreciate it. Okay, so Vergil Ortiz, 21-0. With, I don't know how many knockouts he has. 21-0 fought Sergey Boyachuk, who was, at the time of the fight, 24-1. The only fight Boyachuk had lost to was Brandon Adams. For the 154 pounds several years ago, back in 2021. If you're not familiar with who Brandon Adams is, Brandon Adams was a very, very good fighter, bro, who gave a terrific fight to Jamal Charlo at 160 pounds back in 2019. So Brandon Adams, even though he beat Boyachuk, came down in weight to do it. So I was still very hopeful for Boyachuk. Still think he's a very good fighter. Whole lot of people think he got robbed in this back and forth war. And the main reason that people think that Boyachuk got robbed was because of the two knockdowns. Personally, I could have given the fight to Boyachuk. I could have given the fight a draw. I could have given the fight to Vergil Ortiz. I don't think that it was a robbery. I think that it was a close fight. The scorecards, I do believe one had it a draw. The other had it 114, 112, 114, 112. The 114, 112s were a little strange because, you know, with 2 10-8 rounds and you still have it 114, 112, yikes, man. You know what I'm saying? Yikes, man. You're pretty much taking away, like, you're saying the man won the fight way by a grip if it wasn't for the knockdowns. Nah, I thought when the knockdowns weren't taking place that the fight was very, very close, but I may have given, you know, the edge in the exchanges to Vergil Ortiz, because Vergil Ortiz was definitely landing that overhand right very, very consistently on Boyachuk. Man, Boyachuk was a man to stand up to that stuff. Now, moving forward, though, and what happens with Vergil Ortiz next, man, there's a lot of options for him. There's a lot of options for everybody. So with the WBC interim title, the champion for the WBC is Sebastian Fundora. Sebastian Fundora should be fighting Errol Spence Jr. next for the WBC and maybe the WBO title, depends on what happens there. So, you really have him very close to a title shot for the WBC with the likes of Errol Spence or Sebastian Fundora. Love it for Vergil Ortiz. I personally would love to see Vergil and Errol fight. Hopefully Errol is all the way back or, considerably back in a different weight class. Got to see how he looks, obviously. But just the thought of a potential Errol and Vergil Ortiz fight really, really excites me. Vergil Ortiz is obviously looking a lot more fresh, but it was really good to see Vergil Ortiz, who's had a lot of problems over the last couple years with health problems and injuries of other fighters going into certain fights. Now, I would have loved if this was not Boyachuk and this was Tim Tszyu, though. I'm going to tell you right now, Vergil Ortiz probably wouldn't get up if he was getting hit by Tim Tszyu. So it may be a blessing in disguise for Vergil Ortiz that the top of Tim Tszyu's head did not heal. But I hope that even though that fight got broke up and got because of the cut over the head of Tim Tszyu that he suffered against Sebastian Fundora wasn't healed all the way, man, I would still love to see those two guys fight. But I got to tell you, from what I saw last night, Vergil Ortiz, who is a warrior, better not get hit with them same shots Boyachuk hit him with by Tim Tszyu. Otherwise, man, you may be, waking up the next day. But again, man, just showed a lot. Vergil Ortiz showed a lot of grit. Boyachuk showed a lot of grit. Love the fight. Shoot, man, those guys could run that puppy back, man. But that is an exciting fight, man. Now, on the other fight on the card, not on the card, but the fight that took place, the same night, the big fight on ESPN was Angelo Leo versus, man, I think it was Lopez. Lopez is the guy that beat, the first time I became familiar with him is he had beaten Josh Warrington over there in the UK, and he took the IBF 126 belt from Josh Warrington. And then after that, I believe that he beat Mick Conlan for the 126-pound belt. Now you have Angelo Leo, who previously had lost I do believe he lost to Cowboy Steph at 122, moves up to 126, and gets the one-punch knockout on Lopez. Personally, people are saying that this was knockout of the year. It's always hard for me to say whether or not I think something's knockout of the year because there's so many knockouts. But it was definitely a devastating, surprising knockout. Was it knockout of the year? I mean, how do you put that knockout of the year over somebody? I mean, well, it's for a championship title, and it was and you knocked out the champion. So maybe that puts it over Gervonta Davis versus Frank Martin. Maybe that puts it over Zhilei Zhang over Deontay Wilder. Yeah, man, it's just really tough for me to say. But, man, I was not surprised that Angelo Leo won that fight. The reason that I was watching that fight was for Angelo Leo. And the reason that I thought Angelo Leo might win that fight, and because that was my pick for the fight, was Angelo Leo. The reason why I thought that he could get him is because I wasn't particularly impressed by who it was Lopez had beat before. Because Lopez beat Josh Warrington and Mick Conlan. To me, so what? I've been said that those 126-pound featherweights over there in Britain are overrated, man, and that they continually get shot after shot after shot after shot and after shot at the same championship belt to see which guy they may luck up and beat. But at the end of the day, man, congratulations to Angelo Leo. Congratulations to Vergil Ortiz. All around, very, very, very good night of boxing. On the undercard of Vergil Ortiz, though, I got to give a shout out to Charles Conway, who looked extremely, extremely good in that in that fight in dominating fashion. Let me make sure that I don't want to make sure I say the dude's name the wrong way. Sometimes, you know, I'm doing this video late at night or early in the morning, however you want to call it. But, hold on one second. I'm sorry. Trying to do this live at the same time. Make sure I get this right, because I don't want to get this right. Y'all complain in the comment section too much when I get it wrong. So, yeah, absolutely, man. It was, Keith Sims and Charles Conwell. Man, those guys put in shows with the by stopping Romero and stopping Gray. Also had my girl Cecilia Brækhus get her hands on a WBC interim super welterweight title. So it's good to see her back in action. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. Get ready for Vergil Ortiz at 154 pounds, man. That whole weight division is popping with Jermell Charlo being the man. And I'm tired of people forgetting about mentioning Jermell Charlo. You've got Errol Spence. You've got Terrence Crawford. You've got Tim Tszyu. You've got Sebastian Fundora, Vergil Ortiz. Shoot, man, you've got Charles Conwell doing some nasty things. So, you know, coming up, man, just terrific fights all around in that weight division. Anyway, that's my take on the matter. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.